First one is best quote. And what I mean by that is not the actual quote, but the player, when you would go into a locker room, you would go, that's my guy.
There's one guy that in my time, from 69 until retirement, 2012, official retirement, there's only one guy I labeled as the conscience of the team at the particular point in time when he played for that team. And that was Paul Silas. He was a candor, just insight, fearlessness. Paul Silas would be. Now there are other fun. Kevin McHale was relentlessly quotable, and the thing I always thought was fun for us as writers about McHale is that he'd come up with these analogies and metaphors, and they always were right. They weren't stupid. Other people try and they failed. He didn't fail. He got it right. He got the metaphor right. He got the simile right. It was he was amazing. He was fun. But Paul Silas would be my guy as the unfailing. Now, as John Havlicek, it's funny because as time went on, he got more and more. I don't know how to call it, mirthful. He loosened up more and more. He was a much more sort of uninhibited, fun-loving guy by the time he retired than he was when I first encountered him in 1969. But Silas was unquestionably the most forthright person that I dealt with.
Well, 17 is my favorite number for a reason. I mean, John Havlicek it was the greatest thrill of my life. And after being in sports for a long time, meeting athletes never was a big deal. I mean, I just you meet guys and you're like, oh, whatever. But Havlicek was always special to me. And the one thing, Tommy always told the story about how John was rolling so tight, he had to have wooden hangers or something in his locker. They had to be just so.
Well, my recollection is not the hanger, not the hangers so much, but in general terms, I wrote and said that his locker looked like the general was coming for inspection.
Right.
And he arranged his cologne bottles and stuff in ascending height, left to right.
Yeah.
But the coup, when he would wear executive socks, knee-length socks,
yeah,
he would take them off and hang them up.
That's him.
And drape them over the bar. So, he was very meticulous.
And Silas, I love the Silas point because I just remember him at 6'5", and the guy, I think he led the league in offensive rebounding one year at 6'5".
Well, he's 6'7".
Oh, was he? Oh, 6'7".
But offensive rebound was a particular forte of his. He had a science about it. There's no question. He was the reigning offensive rebounder in the league in the late 60s, early 70s. Which, by the way, just a little extension here. The first, I did a detour on a Celtic trip back in 1975 and went to a couple of ABA games out west when I had nights off. And one of them was in Denver, and I walk in, and I think it may have been Utah, doesn't matter. They were playing Denver, and I knew Larry Brown. And I'm talking to Larry, and he's telling me that Moses Malone, this is the rookie, right directly out of Petersburg, Virginia then. Moses Malone, he says, the best offensive rebound I've ever seen in my life. And I said, Larry, better than Paul Silas? And he said, yes. And, and of course, offensive rebounding was forever a forte of his. But anyway, Silas was an offensive rebound. He once showed me something. He had a little technique where he said he would run out of, let's say, picture the basket, he's on the left side, okay? And he would run out of bounds and then come in and nudge out
right
position on the other side to block out a guy. And, how cool is that?
It's smart. Yeah, you got
Tell me one other thing, too. When teams, remember a thing that, this is really dating us, Gareth. Remember a thing called the fast break? You remember that was organized and had an outlet pass and had a man and had wingmen and a trailer, He showed me that he not every basket, every shot, naturally, but he could angle himself so he would get the offensive rebound and immediately propel himself with two fast dribbles to the free throw line and then pass the ball off the guy was a thinker.
Yeah, and that's why he was one of how many of Red's players that became coaches? They all became coaches.
Oh God, so many.
CLNS History is powered by PrizePicks. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup.